If I had a time machine at my disposal and was able to travel into the past and meet my young self, and I could take with me only one item, that item would either be Gray's Sports Almanac or this diskette right here. This diskette contains an operating system so powerful that could undeniably have changed the course of history if it had been invented a bit earlier. Can you imagine a whole operating system with all modern features and applications fitting in just 1.4 megabytes of space? Well, this is exactly what you are looking at. A tiny 32-bit open source operating system with its own GUI for x86 and compatible computers. Colibrios contains a monolithic kernel that runs in 32-bit protected mode and supports full cooperative multitasking. I have been using Colibrios and Menuetos, its previous version, for like 4 or 5 years. I've been wanting to make a video about this operating system for about 3 years now. I guess I'm a bit late, but I will not only review it, but also show you how to install it on your hard drive, which is a not so straightforward process, so keep watching. I am not exaggerating about this OS. This OS could have easily changed the course of history if it had been released a bit earlier, and it pretty well could have been released much earlier, as it was entirely written in assembly language. This thing could have been written decades ago. Before we review the operating system, let's compare it to the other operating systems of its category and how they were fitted into diskettes. MS-DOS 5 was on 2 diskettes and did not include a GUI, but only a command prompt. Windows 3, which was not even close to the standards and quality level that Colibrios offers, had 7 installation disks. Lotus 123 version 4.1 had 6 disks, and the Colibrios in just one disk includes a spreadsheet program, 3 Linux distributions that fit on a floppy disk, TinyRoot Linux, Tom's Root Boot, and Fresco. Each distro fits in a floppy disk, but none of them includes a graphical user interface. So what is included in the Colibrios project? Unbelievable quantity of software. I don't know where to start or where to end. Colibrios includes drivers for most graphic cards, audio interfaces, and network cards. The multitasking of this OS is intergalactic. You may run 5 or 10 programs simultaneously without any issue. I lost track of how many windows I opened, but it still runs smoothly. A sidebar with even more shortcuts. A Norton Commander clone. Fully customizable desktop. And a fantastic file manager. A graphics editor. Text editors. Music players. Games. A web browser. Emulators like the legendary DOSBox. Literally everything. It is inconceivable what this OS includes in just a few megabytes of space. You have a task manager, a control panel with a multitude of options for your system, an assembler, a debugger, an IRC client for those of us who spent their entire adolescence on IRC clients, an FTP client, Telnet, even an FTP server, a capture screen tool. The OS of course has no system requirements. I am currently running it on a Pentium 2 computer. And all this is possible because Linux and Windows are mostly developed in C programming language, while Colibrios was entirely written in assembly language. That gives you the correct idea of how much smaller and efficient the assembly code can be compared to high-level languages. Assembly is a low-level programming language that translates to direct orders to the CPU, making the code much more efficient and constrained. Kolybrios does not have a typical installation process, but you can definitely install and boot from your hard drive as I did here on this machine. To do so, you need to first install a bootloader like Grub. I did it using an old bootloader called SysLinux. You will need 3 diskettes, one with Kolybrios, one with MS-DOS, and one with SysLinux. Download and create a diskette with Kolybrios. Create or download an MS-DOS boot disk. Download SysLinux and extract the zip file. Copy the file dos/syslinux.com over to your third floppy. Copy the file memdisk/memdisk over to your third floppy. Boot into DOS using the MS-DOS boot disk. Remove the disk and insert the SysLinux disk. Execute the command syslinux se. Copy the file memdisk to your hard drive's root folder. Remove the disk and insert the Kolybrios disk. Copy the Kolybrios image file into your hard drive's root folder. Remove the disk and insert the MS-DOS disk. Your MS-DOS disk should include an editor. If there is no editor included, you could copy inside the disk an editor of your choice. Create a syslinux.cfg file and use the editor to type in the following: default memdesk initrd equals kolibri.image. You could also prepare the syslinux config file on another computer, include it in the syslinux diskette and copy it over to your hard drive's root folder. Reboot your machine and you should be greeted with SysLinux bootloader and with Kolybrios. If you have any questions, visit Kolibri OS group on Facebook, because I certainly won't be happy to answer them.